Hello, welcome back to Greatest Love Ministries. This is Pastor James Hargrave. This is going to be maybe a little difficult of a video to do. There's a lot of information I want to relate here, but it has to do with why I believe this will happen, this crisis, this international crisis that ushers in the end of the world in summer. I want to give you some of the evidence for July 4th that's happening this summer 2025. I want to go over some of that information with you. I'll have a lot of tabs open. I hope I'll be able to keep it organized for you, so bear with me. This might be kind of difficult. One thing I want to start out with is talking about, let me find it here, Luke 21, verse 25, 33. And let me see, I got to find that. Here it is, Luke. And there shall be signs in the sun and the moon and in the stars, and upon the earth distress of nations with perplexity, the sea and the waves roaring. This is in Luke. So it's talking about the signs in the heavens, astronomical signs. So the sign I want to point to or talk to you about is the ecliptic cycle. I got to find that here for you. Find the right tab. It's talking about the ecliptic cycle. There it is, the ecliptic cycle. The ecliptic cycle is a 76-year cycle that brings in the lunar solar calendar, like the Hebrews have, and the Gregorian calendar, the solar calendar. It synchronizes them to within one day every 76 years. It's a improvement on the Metonic cycle, which is a 19-year cycle. So four Metonic cycles leads to a 76-year ecliptic cycle. So has relevance with the Masons. It says in Scripture we just looked at in Luke, telling us to look for signs in the heavens, markers, indicators in heaven. And the ecliptic cycle is an astronomical occurrence. It's astronomy. It's an astronomical cycle, the 76-year ecliptic cycle. So if you start that in 1948, you could start in any year, but you started in 1948 when when modern Israel hit the scene, and go out 76 years, you get to 2024. So those years, 2024 and 1948, should be synchronized to within one day. And then I'm going to talk next about this astronomical sign here. In verse 3, this is Revelation 12:3. Most people, or some people, know about the Revelation 12 sign of the woman clothed with the sun, with the moon at her feet, and the crown of 12 stars on her head. That's the sign of Jesus, the sign of the coming of Christ. That happened on September 23rd, 2017, or in the 69th year of Daniel. That Daniel talks about 69 years, 69th week. But it says there's another sign, then another, verse 3 here, then another sign appeared in heaven. This sign, I think it's talked about, it says, an enormous red dragon with 7 heads and 10 horns and 7 crowns on its head. So this sign we're looking for is 7, uh, 7 celestial bodies. Now, if you look here, in this article, 5 planets will align this week. Here's when, where, and how to see the alignment of Saturn, Neptune, Jupiter, Uranus, and Mercury. Now, when the ancients would include the sun and the moon. If you include the sun and the moon, it's 7. It's seven celestial bodies, like this sign in Revelation chapter 12, verse 3 is talking about seven celestial bodies. I went out and saw this. This happened on June 17th, 2023. And I saw it early in the morning on June 17th, before the sun came up. You could see it's a reddish hue because it was the early morning hours, early dawn. And it was a red dragon, a red snake. It looked like a snake. The planets lined up like a line and a snake in the sky. And there were seven of them. And you could see this. This was the Revelation 12, verse 3 astronomical sign. And these are markers. It happened on June 17th. Now you got to also understand um, that the Jews use the Anno Mundi calendar. They use a different calendar system than what we do in the West, the Gregorian calendar. They don't use a Gregorian calendar, which is a solar calendar. They use a lunar solar calendar, Anno Mundi. And the Freemasons also use that calendar, the Anno Mundi calendar. So this marking this date, June 17th. Now, what was interesting and what's special about June 17th? Let me pull up that tab if I can find it here. I don't think I pulled it up, but I'm going to pull it up right now. I can do that real quickly. Pull up heat cal here. I go to use this a lot. Date converter. Let's look at what happened on June 17th, 2023. It's the 28th of Sivan, which is the third month in the Hebrew calendar, so the ecclesiastical calendar. So Nisan, and I forget the next month, and then goes to Sivan. It's the third month, and the 28th of Sivan. So that's marking that day. Now, look, what is special about the 28th of Sivan? If you look at the 28th of Sivan in the year 2024, it's July 4th. And that's the completion of that 76-year ecliptic cycle in 2024. So now I want to show you another interesting thing. Operation Blackjack. Remember Operation Blackjack came out in the London Telegraph, a fictional slideshow about terrorist attacks on North America. This came out around January 12th, 2009. And here's just a picture of that slideshow that's put into a video. And it starts on June 20th of some year. This happened in the year 2009. So then you go back to the Hebrew calendar, June 20th, 2009. Again, it's the 28th of Sivan. 28th Sivan. We just look at that with the Revelation 12:3 astronomical sign is also the 28th of Sivan, which in the year 2024 was July 4th. Another thing about Operation Blackjack, this is code here. Look at this, June 22nd, which is part of that series. It starts with June 20th, Sivan 28th, and then this 8:03:27 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time. This, they're using it in a double entendre here, in a double sense, a double meaning. The AM here is standing for Ande Mundi. This is a date they're giving you in here on this code on Operation Blackjack. So what this is talking about is the eighth year. Let me pull this, the eighth year. I'm going to find that here. Bear with me, please. It's hard to keep all this straight. Gosh, this thing is picky. Well, let me just pull it up here again. What were we talking about? Oh, we need to go back to the Hebrew calendar. Let's go back to the Hebrew calendar. So I'm showing you that day 8/03/27 with Operation Blackjack. Go to date converter. Go to the year 57. Oh, what is it saying? 08, 5708. On a moon day calendar. This is what HeapCal uses, the on a moon day calendar. The third month, Nissan, ER, and Savan. So go to Savan. And then when Washington, D.C. blows up, like I show you right here, see 8/03/27 on Washington, D.C., the bomb is going off. Let's see here. I misplaced it again. Let's go back. I got too many tabs open here. I'm trying to do too much at once. Let's go back. Okay, again, 57. Oh, what did it say? 08. The month of Savan, 3 to 27 from Washington, D.C. is blown up. And that's July 4th, 1948. So again, I'm pointing back to July 4th. So Savan, the 20th, and here it's the 27th because it's one day off. And that 76-year cycle, it's one day off. So it's pointing to July 4th. What's also interesting, June 20th, that talks about also on Operation Blacklist, June 20th in the year 2009. Here it is, I've got it here. June 20th, 2009 is the 28th of Savan. So they're playing a lot of games with codes and dates and the different calendars. So again, the 28th of Savan. So on the 28th of Savan, it's different. The Hebrew calendar and the Gregorian calendar are different every year. Elliptic cycle, we talk about. And so here, Matthew 24, what I was looking for. It talks about, where's Matthew 24? Okay, hold on. You are not being friendly to me. Matthew 24 talks about the beginning of birth pains. We're going to talk about that in here a little bit. I'll talk about it now before I forget. The birth pains, 270 days or 9 months. 9 months is 270 days. And if you count the days from the election of Donald Trump in November 5th, November 6th, if you count that as the first day, 2024, and you go out 270 days, it ends up on August 3rd or the 9th of Av, which also correlates to the 2,520th day of the 7-year tribulation period. Hold on here a second. Almost there. Um, And learn a lesson from the fig tree. As soon as its twigs get tender and its leaves come out, you know that summer is near. Even so, when you see all these things, you know that is near, right at the door. So it's a reference to summer. The summer solstice is June 20th. Just like Operation Blackjack, that whole story started June 20th. But all the coding from the Freemasons and what the Bible seems to be saying in Revelation chapter 12, verse 3, is July 4th, right around July 4th, which is summer. Another thing that's interesting here, why I'm thinking it's summer, um, verse 44, this is Daniel 11. No, is Daniel 11? Yeah, Daniel 11:44. The reports from the east and the north will alarm him, Donald Trump that is, and he will set out in great rage to destroy and annihilate many. This news from the north and the east, I think this is talking about the BRICS. It's a big deal right now with the BRIC nations. They've got two powerful entities, the BRICS rising up against the old order, the United States, the Western Empire, and these two are competing. They're fighting with each other. And this news, it says, reports or this news will alarm him. He goes, and at that point, he goes out with great rage to destroy and annihilate many. I think that going out will be through a false flag. It does say in other parts of Scripture, like in Revelation, that it's the beast, Donald Trump, and the 10 kings, 10 kingdoms, which are the BRIC nations. They together conspire to bomb Washington, D.C., and then go out with great rage to destroy and annihilate uh, many. Now, the BRICS meeting, I can find it here, right here, yeah. The BRICS meeting, the BRICS summit this year is July 6th to 7th, right around July 4th, the same time. So I think this is the way God has given us a hint or a clue that right around July 6th and 7th with this meeting, which is July 4th, so only 2 days before that, the great rage, going out in great rage by Donald Trump will happen. Again, the 270 days from his election, November 6th to August 3rd, 270 days. And also, what's interesting, if you look at Ezekiel, right here, Ezekiel 39, it talks about a 7-year period. This 7-year period goes from 2018 to 2025. It's a 7-year war of Gog, Magog. You know, Trump's been in power since 2017. So this is him he's talking about. Now, he was out of office a little bit, but it talks about that. He was in office, he's out of office, he comes back into office. The beast that was is not, and yet will be. And also, Ezekiel 39 here talks about a 210-day period, a 7-month period towards the end. If you look at this, I think that's again a reference to God, which is Donald Trump. And if you look at that from January 6, 2025, this year, January 6, 2025, that's when he was officially certified by Congress as President of the United States as winning the election. And again, up to August 3rd, 2025, that very last day of that 2,520th day, that's 210 days. That's your 7-month period. So all the time periods are fitting together. And it looks like there's very strong evidence for some sort of calamity in Israel, with Jerusalem on the 9th of Av, which is August 3rd. August 3rd is the 9th of Av. And if you know anything about the 9th of Av, both temples in Jerusalem were destroyed on the 9th of Av, one by the Babylonians in like 500 something BC, and the second by the Romans in 70 AD. And the third destruction of Jerusalem is going to be on the 9th of August 2025 or August 3rd. So this is just evidence why it looks like it's definitely this summer that all heck's going to break loose. It looks like the Bible and Freemasonry is talking both about July 4th, Independence Day. And for example, if you look at the movie, let me see if I can find it here. I might not be able to find it. Well, the movie Independence Day that came out in 1996, you know, they blow up the White House, they blow up Washington, D.C., the aliens, and that happened on Independence Day, just more foreshadowing of what the Freemasons are planning to do. So that's just a little bit of a review of why I think all heck's going to break loose this summer. Thank you.